While 3 hikes cannot be ruled out, we would need all the stars to be aligned. Yohay Elam, Forex Crunch. The US Federal Reserve raised interest rates for the first time in a year, and for only a second time since 2008. With the US economy clearly on the up, what are your expectations for the upcoming year, and do you expect to see any more Fed hikes?
The Fed made an unprecedented upgrade of its rate path forecast for 2017, raising it to 3 hikes. I see this as a strong message of confidence in the US economy, but also as a cap of the amount of hikes we could see next year. At the time of the previous hike, back in 2015, they had forecast 4 hikes for 2016, and this year ends with only 1. 2 hikes seem much more likely, with the first one coming in June, just after the dust settles from Trump's first and critical months in office. Markets have gotten a bit ahead of themselves with stimulus expectations from the president-elect, and campaign promises do not necessarily turn into reality. The second factor is the U.S. economy. The Fed is generally data dependent, and while the economy could do well, it will not heat up too quickly. A third factor slightly overlooked by markets at this point is the strength of the US dollar, mentioned by Yellen at the press conference. If the dollar continues strengthening too much, this could have a dampening effect on inflation and exports, and also could have repercussions for emerging markets, hitting back at the US economy eventually. A stronger dollar will smooth the path of hikes. So while 3 hikes cannot be ruled out, we would need all stars to be aligned. 2 hikes makes more sense for the usually dovish Fed, and also a repeat of 2015 or 2016 with 1 hike is certainly a possibility.
The Fed hike has sent the Japanese yen plunging. After an incredibly bullish year for the yen, the ever-improving dollar on the back of Trump's election victory is causing problems for the safe haven. What are your predictions for the Japanese yen as we head into 2017?
I expect a more stable 2017, a range of 115 to 125. Looking forward, so far the yen fell on the elections, on the Fed hike, and also on the Bank of Japan's change of policy in September, targeting long-term interest rates, a policy that they had the chance to implement back in November. Kuroda and his colleagues have sown the seed for a weaker yen, and this materialized when conditions became right. However, if the yen goes too far, the country could suffer from rising costs of importing energy, as well as political implications. The weak yen has already come under pressure during the Obama administration years, and the pressure could rise in 2017. Trump vowed to label China as a currency manipulator, and Japan would not like to grab too much attention from its big rival. We will probably not see another remarkable repeat of the move from 101 on election night to 118 at the moment.
The number of people in work in the UK fell for the first time in more than a year on Wednesday, adding to signs of economic weakness following the Brexit vote. What do you think this tells us about the current state of the UK economy as we approach the triggering of Article 50 next year?
So the drop in employment and the rise in jobless claims, which had already begun earlier, certainly warning signs. So far, the UK has skipped the worst of the gloomy pre-referendum forecasts, thanks to a strong economy going into the vote. But looking into 2017, uncertainty will probably take its toll. The highly publicized moves by Nissan and SoftBank were seen as votes of confidence in the UK economy, but they are probably the exception and not the norm. The UK government has yet to present its Brexit plans. So, for instance, an entrepreneur looking to open shop in London might opt for Berlin's bustling startup scene, and the EU national could think twice before accepting a job offer in the UK. And against this uncertainty, the EU is showing a more unified and a more hostile front against the UK. So I expect Britain to suffer from worsening stagflation. A weaker pound could push prices higher, while uncertainty about Brexit could weigh on growth. This trend could even worsen when Britain formally triggers Article 50. We all know it's going to happen in 3 months, but the actual announcement could kill any hopes of avoiding or delaying the historic move, thus further weighing on the UK economy.
Thank you, Yohay, for your expert views. That's all for this weekly wrap with myself, Jack Everett, but Kais will be here on Monday for the week ahead. Until then, goodbye.